Stop. Before you lace up your sneakers and head out for your next walk, you need to hear this, because there is a very good chance that every walk you've taken for the past months, maybe even years, has burned almost zero belly fat. Not because walking doesn't work, it absolutely does, but because of one biological rule your body operates by that nobody ever explains. There is a specific minute, a precise internal clock. And until your walk crosses that threshold, your visceral fat is completely locked away, untouchable, protected, and your body is burning something else entirely. Stay with me, because once you understand what's actually happening inside you, you will never think about walking the same way again. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong. Visceral fat, that deep belly fat sitting around your organs, is not just extra storage sitting there passively waiting to be burned off. It functions more like a living organ inside your body. It releases chemical signals that trigger inflammation throughout your blood vessels, your immune system, and your liver. It actively reduces your body's ability to respond to insulin, which is one of the key mechanisms driving type 2 diabetes. And here's what makes it particularly dangerous. It has a direct line to your liver through a major blood vessel, constantly feeding it signals that cause it to store more fat and pump out more glucose than it should. This is not about the way you look in the mirror. This is a malfunctioning internal control system quietly working against your health every single hour of every single day. And here is the most critical piece of information nobody tells you about visceral fat. Your body guards it like a vault. It is treated as a strategic energy reserve, only accessible when very precise biological conditions are met. Your body does not just hand it over because you decided to go for a run. This is the part that shocks most people. High-intensity workouts, sprints, HIIT, intense cardio sessions often fail specifically at reducing visceral fat. Here's why. When you push your body hard, your stress hormone cortisol spikes. And when cortisol is elevated, your body reads the situation as a threat, as danger. And in response to danger, it locks visceral fat down even tighter. The harder you push, the more aggressively your body protects those deep fat stores. Intense exercise can burn calories, yes. It can build muscle, absolutely. But for visceral fat specifically, it often works against you by triggering the very hormonal environment that keeps that fat locked in place. Walking does the opposite, and that's not a weakness. That is exactly the mechanism you need to exploit. SEGMIN 3, the first minutes of your walk. The moment you start, your body is not burning, not even close in first seconds. Your musks from a TP10. Pre-stored energy packets sitting right inside the muscle tissue itself. That lasts only a few seconds. Then your body shifts to burning glucose from your bloodstream and glycogen from your muscles. Your heart rate climbs slightly. Your breathing adjusts. And from the outside, everything feels easy, almost too easy. This is the moment most people make the critical mistake. They think, this feels too light, I must not be doing anything. They speed up, or they give up, or they decide walking is a waste of time. They are wrong, but they're wrong in a very specific and important way. This phase isn't fat burning, it is preparation. And skipping it or abandoning it means you never reach the phase that actually matters. Before I get to the exact minute, everything changes. If this is already clicking for you, hit like right now and subscribe. I break down the science of fat loss, metabolism, and body composition in a way that actually makes sense. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Fat oxidation, the actual biological process where your mitochondria begin pulling fatty acids in as fuel, cannot begin until three very specific conditions are satisfied inside your body simultaneously. First, oxygen delivery must be stable. Your cardiovascular system needs to settle into a rhythm. Second, your nervous system must shift out of alert mode. It has to stop treating the movement as a stressor and begin registering it as something safe, something sustainable. Third, the hormonal environment must signal to your body that it is okay to release stored fuel. This means cortisol has to stay low. Adrenaline has to be calm. Your body has to feel like it is cruising, not surviving. Until all three of those conditions exist at the same time, visceral fat is completely off limits. The biological gate is shut. Here it is, the moment this whole video has been building toward. At around the 10 to 15 minute mark of a steady, moderate-paced walk, something shifts. Quietly, invisibly, without any physical sensation you would notice in the moment. Your energy demand stabilizes, your breathing finds a rhythm. Your nervous system stops treating the walk as a threat and begins treating it as normal movement. And in that transition, something called the metabolic crossover occurs. This is the internal threshold where your body's fuel preference switches. Instead of prioritizing glucose, your mitochondria begin pulling fatty acids into their energy pathways. Beta oxidation ramps up. Fat is no longer being saved, it is being actively burned as fuel. And this is where visceral fat finally enters the picture. But not first. Your body burns subcutaneous fat, the fat just beneath your skin, before it ever touches visceral fat. Visceral fat requires even deeper mitochondrial engagement and an even more stable internal environment. It is always the last to unlock. It requires you to stay in that window long enough for your body to work through the layers. You will feel none of this happening. There is no surge of energy, no warmth, no obvious signal. But the chemistry inside your cells has fundamentally changed. The heart rate zone where this entire process operates most effectively is between 50 and 70% of your maximum. In this range, your body's demand for energy is high enough to activate fat oxidation, but not so high that cortisol kicks in and shuts the whole process down. And here's how to find it without any device or tracker. Your breathing should be deep and steady, not gasping. You should be able to speak a sentence comfortably, but you wouldn't want to have a long conversation. Your steps should feel like they have settled into a natural rhythm, not forced, not labored. That feeling is the signal. That is your body in the window. You've heard it 1,000 times. Walk for 30 minutes. Most people nod and move on without understanding what that number actually represents or why it matters. Here is what's really happening inside those 30 minutes. The first 10 to 15 minutes are not fat burning. They are the biological preparation phase, fuel switching, system stabilization, hormonal calibration. This phase is not optional. Hormonal calibration. This phase is not optional. You cannot skip it or shortcut it. The visceral fat burning window doesn't open until after the metabolic crossover, and it requires sustained time to be effective. The minimum effective duration to enter and remain inside that window long enough for visceral fat to contribute meaningfully to your fuel system is 30 to 35 minutes total, which means the fat that actually matters, the dangerous deep belly fat, only gets accessed in roughly the final 15 to 20 minutes of your walk. So when someone says, just walk for 30 minutes, they are giving you the right number for completely wrong reasons. The first half of your walk is the price of admission. The second half is where the payoff lives. This is why so many people walk faithfully for weeks and feel like nothing is changing. They are stopping at 20 minutes, or they're walking too fast and spiking cortisol, or they're starting and stopping and never letting their body complete the preparation phase and enter the metabolic crossover. Now you know exactly what your body needs: a steady pace, a calm nervous system, and enough time to cross the threshold and stay on the other side of it. 30 minutes minimum. Moderate pace. Every single day. That's not a suggestion. That's biology. If this gave you a clearer picture of how your body actually works, share this with someone who walks every day but wonders why nothing seems to change. They deserve to know this. And subscribe, because next we're going deep into the one-timing trick that makes your morning walk twice as effective for visceral fat. You're not going to want to miss that one.